All right, I can't quite show you what I'm working on right now, but I'm going to share with you the most powerful technique you can use to get more done each day, that you can accomplish more on your homestead or in your business or anywhere else. And it's a simple technique, and it uses two tools that are readily available to everybody, and you'll accomplish more every day. People will wonder, why are you so successful? How do you accomplish so much? And it's both a philosophy and an activity. I'm Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations and the newsletter Prosperity Homestead. So I'm sitting in my truck, which is my office on wheels, using my phone to do a podcast. And in front of me down here is a notepad. Now, I don't know if I'm just going to hold it up here. It's just like a little notebook. And before I left the house today, I made a list on a sheet of paper, one side of a sheet of paper. I made a list of the most important things that I will do this day. So there's an affirmation in it of the things that I will do this day. You have to forgive me for pointing this pen at you, but I've been getting stuff done all day long. In fact, I've checked off 2 things on my list. Let me share why this is so important. I know you've got computers and you've got to-do lists, and you've got things that'll pop up on your calendar, and you've got an assistant and stuff like that. But if you don't have the 3 to 5 things that you're going to accomplish this day, then how will you stay focused with all the phone calls, all the distractions, all the TNA on social media, all the YouTube videos, all the problems you're going to come into? See, I showed up at the bank this morning to open a bank account and to transfer money. Now I'm transferring 5 figures, and I'm transferring it for a very important reason, and I can't transfer it from my bank account because they only have a $2,500 limit on transfers, and they have this, and just see, there's all kinds of distraction, there's all kinds of problems, there's all kinds of issues that are going to get in the way from you being able to do what you need to do. But what I wrote on this piece of paper does not change. My number one objective, and I have some acronyms on here, I won't read them out, is an ACH transfer to start X, and here's the bank's name right here, and it says call to schedule an appointment. So I called to schedule an appointment, and they said, well, we don't schedule appointments. Even though the last time I showed up in the bank, they told me I had to schedule an appointment, and they said, we don't schedule appointments. And so I ended up going to one branch, and they weren't available, so I made them get on the phone. Okay? Now, I know it sounds mean, it sounds aggressive, but my list has to be complete today, because this is the 3 to 5 things that I'm going to get done. And so I said, it's on my list. Can you call another branch and see who's available for me to do this wire transfer, and for me to basically set up a new business account? And they got on the phone and they called somebody, and then they gave me the address of the other branch. I drove over to the other branch, and boom, it was taken care of. Now I'm sitting in the parking lot of a Rural King because I've got to pick up goat fence, and it's not on my list, but was on my list is to call a guy about moving some buildings, moving some sheds, and I have his name, and I have his phone number, and I have to move the sheds, and I have option 1 is where the first shed is, and option 2 where the second shed is, and the address is all written down right here. I don't need to look it up on my phone. I don't need to call somebody at the office. I got it all right here on this piece of paper. Now, this notebook I'm going to be filling up through the course of the day. It could be a notebook, it could be an engineering notebook, it could be a pad of paper, it could be a journal, whatever it is. It could be a calendar. Whatever it is, it's written down, but I only fill up one side of the page because as new things come up, so I need to transfer money. I got a new thing that came up here. I've got to go cut down a tree. I've got to move some gas cans to another. I don't know if you can see it back there. Some gas cans behind me here. I've got to go pick up these panels. Now, I just happen to be driving past Rural King, and I need to pick up some cattle panels. So goat panels. And so it's not on my list, but I wrote it on my list, and it's efficient to go ahead and take care of that. So now I'm going to take care of that as well. I didn't write down a podcast, but as a demonstration, I'm going to show you how I had a little bit extra time. I'm waiting on a callback that I can go ahead and just record a podcast. Because as I mentioned before, I have lists of questions that come in from people. And the biggest question that's been coming in lately is, with all the headaches and problems, with all the delays, with all the people that don't follow up, how do you become more productive? And I'm telling you right now, it's with a simple pad of paper and a ink pen. And you'll notice this ink pen is not, and I picked this up this morning. My original ink pen was right here. And I got a free ink pen at the bank to add to my productivity, because while they were talking to me, I didn't want to write down on the front of my paper. I just grabbed one of their business cards and I wrote down what I needed to write down on that card. And I can't show you that card because it's got sensitive information on it. But my point being is that everything goes into this one notebook. And then when I get back into the office this evening or this afternoon, I can sort through that notebook. The physical presence of a to-do list, the physical presence of writing down each activity and deciding whether it fits into the priority of the day, that is where the success comes from. That is where the results come from. When you're sitting in front of the computer and that to-do list comes up or that item comes up on your calendar, unless you're on the phone talking to somebody, because I do make a list on my computer and then just go through them in my customer relationship management system and make my follow-up calls. We do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays is my call days. And then Wednesdays are my out days. And today is Friday, which is a follow-up out day. So again, I'm segmenting my days about where I am, but this list goes with me. And the reason I like to use a little notepad is because I could lay it out on my thing here, and I can't really show you without showing you what's on the sheet here. Let me just put my hand over it, but we got this right here, and I got my backpack, and there's an iPad in there. But why do I need to fire the iPad up? My notebook, my notepad is functioning all well. And so in the notepad behind it, I have copies of the invoices for what we're paying. I've got phone numbers that I might need for that day. I don't have all my phone numbers. They're in my phone. I've got the key things here. Now, other action items have come up. So when I was at the bank, I need to set up a read-only account for my accountant, and there's certain criteria of what I need to email over to the bank, and so I had to make that note. That's not something I can take care of now. That's something when I get back to the office, I can take care of. But the key is, because I wrote it down, because I decided in advance what I was going to accomplish. These aren't things that I'm going to do. These are things that I'm going to accomplish. And because it's things I'm going to accomplish, getting sun in my eyes here, boys. I'm getting it done. I'm getting the work done. I'm getting important things done. Now, these activities, where did they come from? Did I just magically decide? Well, we've talked about the top of mind exercise that we do at the end of the day. We've talked about the project-oriented approach or the outcome-oriented approach. So these tasks came from projects. Now, I don't have written here which projects. I did do a little bit of color highlighting here because I highlighted items that cluster together or like they're at the same location or the same geographic region. Like, for example, cutting down that tree and dropping off the gas cans. That happens... The tree gets cut down in one location and gets taken over to this other location. So those two are together activities. But the point of it is I just went through my project list and I look at the milestones that we need and I just extracted from there some of the activities I can do today, put them on a piece of paper. The piece of paper is a physical reminder of what needs to be done and what is the priority. It is not something that can change during the day. I'm not going to get an extra email. I'm not going to get an extra phone call. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. I'm going to get things done. That's what we're talking about. Now, I have a complete course on outcome management, how to manage your portfolio of projects, and also how to get more things done using strategies like we're talking about here. And you might be saying, well, Justin, that sounds old-fashioned. Can't I just put it on my Palm Pilot? Can I just put it on my iPhones? Can I just put it on my Googles? Can I use my web calendar? When you're getting things done in the physical world, okay? Because remember, a lot of the subscribers here have homesteads, they have small businesses, they have executive jobs where they have to commute sometimes, or they might have business travel. When you're sitting on a plane and they've told you to put away all electronic devices, you could still, on another page of that notepad, draft the key ideas for emails you're going to do that afternoon. The pen works whether you have electricity or not. The notepad works whether you have electricity or not, at a minimum to organize your thoughts so that when you sit down in front of that computer, you can be more streamlined, you can be more focused, you can be more driven to get the results that you deserve. That's why people say, how is it that Justin, even though he seems like he's bouncing around everywhere, still gets more done in a day than most people get done in the entire month? Why is it that Justin remembered to call so-and-so back? And why is he riding so-and-so's ass to get this shit done? And if one contractor doesn't get it done, another contractor is already lined up, ready to do it. It's because the work is the result when the right things are done. And so what we're doing is we're driving the right things on a daily basis. At the end of the day, I'll process this sheet and then I'll create a whole new sheet for tomorrow. Now, there's days I don't create a sheet because maybe I didn't get a lot of progress the previous day. Maybe that day is just, whatever, do whatever. I'm going to lay around the house and watch YouTube videos. I'm going to go out with the kid and do something. I'm going to be picking up the kid at a certain time so I can have that on the calendar because the whole day is just pickups and drop-offs. I'm not trying to do anything else in between those. But again, when you have outcomes and objectives and things to accomplish, you write it on a pad. Now, I'm not going to carry this pad into Rural King, and I'm not going to go in there. I'm going to go get two things together. I'm going to eat some popcorn when I'm in there too, because it's past lunchtime. But I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get my popcorn, and I'm going to check out ammunition prices. I'm not going to buy any ammo. And then I'm going to go over there to the sheep cattle fence, and I'm going to see if they have 10 panels on stock, and then a little spiral thing so that I can hook it to a T-post, and then I'll have them loaded up in the truck, and then I'm going to head off to do the next thing. Again, it wasn't on my list. I'm not saying you put it on the list and that's the only thing you do, but it was something that was within reach of something else that I just accomplished on the list. And so I can pull in here, grab my stuff from Rural King, grab some lunch real quick, either at the grocery store or at the little Chinese restaurant over here that I know the owners do. And then I get back in the truck and I'm en route already to my next location. So by doing this, you're going to organize your ideas and thoughts. You're going to be able to narrow the scope of your activities. You're going to have clear objectives of what you're going to accomplish each day. You're going to have it written down on a piece of paper that is not going to change. When someone calls and says, hey, I need you to do something else or whatever, you write it on the bottom of the list. And if they say, I need you to do it now, you say, well, it's at the bottom of my list. What things here, and the way we set priority, we just put like an A, B, and C. So I did A, B, and then I just called C, and I'm waiting for him to text me back. And I'll see that little text notification on here when it's ready. Because once he texts me back, I'm finishing number C. Now, once number C is done, I can go put a new A on. See, because I'm getting 3 extremely important things done. Now, I know what some of you guys are saying. You're saying, well, if you only get 3 things done a day, then you're not getting a lot accomplished. It's not productive. If I get the 3 most important things, the most critical things that absolutely must be done today in order to deliver something tomorrow or to be finished with a project this week, then those 3 things have to be done. If I got 10 other things done, then I'm not working on the most important things. So this is about prioritization. Now, a lot of you guys get distracted easy, and I can relate to that. Okay? I thought I saw a squirrel. What the hell is going on? Again, it's written on paper. It does not change. Now, through the course of the day, you might accumulate pens, you might accumulate business cards, you might accumulate other tasks, but in the route and how you move through your day, you're moving towards that goal and objective. Now, my goal is if I'm going to end up over at the property to drop off this fuel, then I'm going to have a bunch of daylight to go. So I'm going to wrap this video up here because I need to be sure that if I load this truck up, that I can unload this truck up this evening. And then if I'm going to be at the property and unload the truck, I probably want to have some groceries in here so I can start a little campfire and I can get some hot herbal tea going and I can sit there and relax. Again, this is about working 8-hour days that are core productive, 8 hours of productivity a day. The typical business owner or executive gets 45 minutes a day of productive time. I'm knocking out 6, 7, 8 hours of productive time a day. Now, there is travel time and other things, so I still might be doing a 10-hour day. This is not the 4-hour work week stuff. This is highly satisfying because you're accomplishing important tasks. This is very rewarding because you're doing work that causes deliverables to be finished faster. This is highly profitable because we're getting the high yield, high value activities done. And because we're doing it with simple tools, ink pen and our notepad, if this something happened, because I wrote it down, my brain is still in my brain, I could write it down again. Now, why do we not just do it from our brain? Because again, there'll be a squirrel, there'll be a phone call, there'll be something that emotionally upsets you, there'll be something that'll derail you, and then you'll feel guilty about being derailed. I've been there. I feel guilty if I get derailed. I spent a whole Saturday, I'd meant to go out and do something, and I spent it watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force and watching, what else I watch on YouTube? Probably Boys or something like that. And I just binged on some stuff. That's telling me that my brain is overworked, overtaxed, and I didn't have a good orientation that day. I had the drive, but I didn't have the orientation. Now, while I'm watching these shows, I'm filing papers, I'm folding laundry, so it wasn't completely a wasted day, but I didn't feel productive. Making a list of the 3 to 5 things you're going to accomplish that day of high value, high important, high result oriented items means that you're going to feel awesome. You're going to have that dopamine rush. You're going to be like, yeah, 3 things done today that actually matter, that actually make a difference, that actually move me towards goals and objectives, rather than looking back and you got a lot done, but you didn't move forward. You didn't get closer to your goals. You didn't get the results that you're looking for. So if you want results, if you want peak performance and personal productivity, then be sure to ask your questions. I'm answering a question about how to be more productive when you're in and out of the vehicle all day. I learned a lot of this being an outside salesperson, because you still had to sell even when there was fire and problems and economic issues and a lot of objections. The bottom line point here, folks, is that I can teach you how to be more productive, but it's not going to be another app on your phone. It's not going to be a different way of managing your calendar. It's not going to be sexy. But again, you can be sexy by getting a lot of stuff done. You can be sexy by getting the performance and results that makes other people wonder how you get so much accomplished. Now, am I using third-party services, assistants, teams? Yeah, of course. The bank is a contractor. The guy moving the sheds is a contractor. These people work for me. I just have to be where I need to be in order to get them kicked off. So yeah, personal assistant, all that other stuff can help you be more productive if you know how to qualify activities, if you know how to focus on packaging the set of work so that you're delivering what the client expects, what your customers expect, and then ultimately organizing your day so that you don't get sidetracked, and then that sidetrack gets someone else sidetracked, and then it just is it's a mess from there. So if you're a business owner or an executive, if you are running a household or running a small business, or you're running a homestead, these are practical and insightful ways that you can get more done each day. If you want to get better results, if you want to get more accomplished, if you want to look back on your life and be proud of all that you've accomplished. It may not feel like it. It may feel, that sometimes you got setbacks, but this technique and a few other techniques that I can teach you are really masterful. So visit www.insidestrategicrelations.com. Ask your questions on the contact page or get the free newsletter. And if you're interested in homesteading or starting a farm, which is technically a business, you want to visit www.prosperityhomestead.org. Go to the contact page or join the free newsletter, where you're going to get insights to transform business relationships into profits. You're going to get insights to turn your daily hours into results. You're going to get insights to build residual value in relationships and to ultimately live the life you want. Security, liberty, freedom, it's all yours. I'm Justin Hitt. Thanks for listening.